All right, maybe we'll get started just to respect everyone's time. We'll have we'll take quick attendance, but if you would have your name on there just so we can see who's joining us. My name is Brant Miner, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions at Pacific. For 5 years prior to this role, I was an assistant basketball coach. Did 1 year on both the men's and women's side. That was a lot. So then I did four more on just the men's side. And now I get the opportunity to work with all of our students from Multnomah and Clackamas County, the Southern Oregon area, the Bay Area of California, and our international students. So I get to kind of MC host us tonight, but we will go over our Stoller Center tour. We'll hear a little bit about Division III sports. There will be a question and answer period at the end, but you're welcome to drop in questions during the chat. We might not get right to them. We might hand you off to somebody else that can answer them better, but we'll give you a good taste of what it's like to be a boxer athlete tonight. So I'm going to get to introduce the man himself, the legend, a former boxer himself, not too long ago from Hawaii, Uncle Jeff Grunden. I'll pass it over to you to let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks. Great to see everybody here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you guys tonight. As Brent said, I'm a boxer. I was a coach here for a very long time in football and men's soccer. 1 year of baseball. I've worn a lot of hats. Right now, I get the wonderful pleasure and honor to work with all the students in Washington County, Yamhill County, Columbia County here in Oregon, and the Central Valley of California. So, we're really glad you're here. And I'm going to turn it over to my amazing, wonderful colleague, Maddie Hubbs.
Hello, everybody. My name's Maddie. I'm another admissions counselor here at Pacific. Uncle Jeff is a tough act to follow here, but I graduated from Pacific myself in 2024. I was a student athlete on the cross country and track and field teams. I was also one of the captains on both of those teams. I absolutely loved my experience as a boxer, and so I'm really excited to get to talk with all of you tonight. So thank you for taking some time out of your busy Tuesday to be here with us, and I will turn it back over to Brant.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks for being here. And now like I said, feel free to drop questions if anybody has them in the chat. You can message them to myself if you don't want to ask in the main chat. But I get to introduce you to our Director of Athletics, former head football coach, Keith Buckley. I'm going to turn it over to you. Take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Brant. Thanks, Jeff and Maddie. Thanks for being here. It's always awesome to have folks that lived it at different times and have been around for a long time. Um, like Brant said and Uncle Jeff said, I was the football coach for a decade at Pacific and have been the athletic director for the last 6 years. So 16 years of my career on campus here in Forest Grove and cannot speak enough about what a great experience it's been for me, but to watch all of our student athletes go through it over a 4 year period has just been special over that time. And I think I've had a very unique experience career wise. For those of you from California, grew up in the Bay Area, went and played football at UC Davis, started my coaching career at Davis, went to University of Idaho as a graduate assistant coach in their Division I days. Spent one long painful year at the Division II level at Humboldt State, and then was really fortunate and got hired at Stanford and spent 3 years in the Pac-10, which it was at that time. Before going back to Davis when they made the transition from Division II to FCS, and then coming to Division III up here. So I have really experienced college athletics from the highest of highs at Stanford, Division II, mid-major Division I, and really found a home at Division III. Really modeled after my interest in student athlete excellence, and a real emphasis on student, that you can be at a place and pursue absolute excellence in the classroom, achieve every life goal that you want in preparing for where you want to go, but also play a very high level of competitive athletics. And so to me, it really is both the traditional ideal of what college athletics is supposed to be, especially in today's world, but also way more competitive and driven than it's ever been at our level. And so you all are on this call tonight, uh, assuming that you've been contacted as a potential prospect in your respective programs, and really, really excited to talk to you about our department. Our department has 24 varsity sports, five JV programs, a couple clubs. We start the year with well over 600 student athletes in our department. And so there is just an absolute volume of folks that are just like you, balancing your academic rigors, your athletic expectations, but then also having a really fun and good time while you're away at college as well. There is a social element, there's a relational element to this at our level, that you aren't all athlete 24/7. You get a chance to do the things that interest you beyond the athletic environment as well. But with that said, we want to win, and we are uber competitive and driven and trying to be the best that we can be. So, if that's something that interests you, we are excited to continue this conversation with you. I think looking at the list for tonight, the vast majority of you have already been admitted to Pacific, so congrats on that. And we'll talk a little bit more about the recruiting process and individual program needs that entail with that recruiting process. But excited just to introduce you to who we are, what we do, how we go about doing it. Every one of our head coaches in the department is a full-time employee, and that is not always the case at the Division III level. So they are committed to you, committed to your growth and development as a person, as a student, and as an athlete. So I'm so fortunate to do what I do. I'm so fortunate to be around the student athletes and staff and coaches that I get to be around, and excited to talk more about it with you tonight. So I think I'll pause there, and we can get ourselves rolling a little bit and talk along the way. And as Brant said, do not hesitate to drop questions into the chat. We'll make sure we answer everybody's to the best of our abilities. All right, I think we are going to start here with kind of a video facility tour. The Stoller Center is the home of the athletic department. So all of our offices in there, the locker rooms are in there, sports medicine, and we'll get to see a little bit of a picture of that. Um, it's something we continually work on and look for opportunities to grow. This is the fitness center, and you'll see a second space a little bit later. So this is more kind of general student fitness. There's workout classes, strength classes. As we say, this is the place that you'll come with your buddies for a quick workout in the off season. But we have a space that we work out with our teams as well. So multiple locations within the department to get better, to grow, and achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. So it does get a little busy at night. Fortunately, we have our space that we get to reserve out. The Hall of Fame is kind of a common area. We've got some tables in here. We took those out for this. But I like this space because it's just a great reminder that there is generations and generations of boxers that have come before you, that support you, that believe in you, and have set an expectation for what it is to be a boxer athlete. And there's some great folks in there. They're still around. They still come and watch you compete and stay engaged and show up to some great events. So this is Stoller Gym. This is our basketball and volleyball gym. 3 full-size courts with a game court in the center, as you can see here. Bleachers come out. So practice wise, we can spread out across 3 floors and then pull the seats out. I think if you look at Brant right now, you can see that the crowds are just fine for us. When we're rolling, they show up and show out. And oftentimes it's a huge group of student athletes that are showing up to support student athletes. Um, this is our field house, and this is Brand. If you want to pause for a second, this may take me a while to kind of talk through this one. This is really our pride and joy. This is something that no other institution in the West region has an indoor field turf facility like this. It's 55 yards long. You can see here we line it for football, but then in the spring we line it for baseball infield and softball infield. Our track team works out in here. There's a net on the other end that our throwers can throw into. If it's icy outside or snowing outside, our sprinters can run inside. Just about every team has an opportunity to get in here and get some work in. Baseball, softball have batting cages. Here on the right, you can see the batting cage is pulled in, but when we get that out, there's a full size batting cage there, and then there's a second one as we turn around here that's up above that space. There's a second batting cage up there, and then our athletic weight room is underneath the batting cage there. This is a picture of the old turf we had in there. We just replaced it last year. So we've got a new logo, brand new turf in there. So we do play indoor soccer. You can see those goals right there hanging on the wall. And we do play both intramural indoor soccer in there. And then our soccer teams do get in and play some small ball in the off season. So we have 2 curtains that can drop down so we can split this into multiple practice spaces as well. It is just an absolute benefit for us in the Northwest, where let's be honest, it occasionally rains up here. So getting inside and getting work done is still really valuable to us. So this is the box. This is kind of the athlete weight room. Again, this is a little bit older look at it. We've replaced all the racks and platforms with updated racks and platforms, all Pacific branded. So we continue to expand and grow and develop what we want. Now we're kind of moving into downstairs. This is our sports medicine facility. We have 5 full-time athletic trainers in the department. That's the most in the conference. And then we are the only school in the West at the Division III level that has an in-house full-time physical therapist as part of our athletic department. So if there's some longer-term injuries that need to be worked on, we have a full-time physical therapist at your disposal that can take care of you. We have a team orthopedic surgeon. We have a team general practitioner. Both of them come out to campus regularly to see you, so you don't have to go in to a doctor's office unless that referral comes in. And the team physician and surgeon have access to every specialist within their clinic for our athletes. So we are very, very well taken care of. And as you've done your homework in Pacific, we have a very, very strong health profession lean to our academic programs and our graduate schools. And so we value that level of care in athletics that meets the standard of the institution for care. Now we kind of step outside and just on the north side of Stoller Center is Lincoln Park. And Lincoln Park has our football stadium, soccer stadium, lacrosse stadium, Hanson, as we're looking at here, track stadium. It's a 9-lane track facility. Awesome facility for all of our sports. Covered stands, as you can see, HD video board, which is behind me, you can see. And it's just an awesome venue. We do bring in bleachers here on the opposite side in the fall for soccer and football. So there's a visitor section on that other side, and then put some bleachers in the end zones as well. We take those out for track season in the spring to use the multi-purpose. Um, Great supporters. I always like this picture of our scoreboard because there's some names on there of families that are very, very supportive of our programs, continue to support our programs, and believe in what we're doing. And that's very, very important in today's world, as we all know, to have alums and donors and families that believe in the mission of the student athlete experience. Um, you may ask, what's that next to the scoreboard? Well, by God, that's the world's tallest barber pole. And there's a fun story around that too that we can tell you down the road. So great facility built in 2006. So it's not very old. This is Bufaro Stadium, our baseball stadium. That's just on the other side of the football stadium. It is a turf infield and a grass outfield. Really rooted in being able to play a little bit of extra baseball in the early spring when it's damp, because the infield is that turf and gets playable much quicker. This is our softball stadium, Sherman Larkin Stadium. Um, Again, fantastic stadium. When this was built, it was named Division III Softball Stadium of the Year. Again, the video is a little bit old. We turfed the outfield of our softball facility 2 years ago, 3 years ago, sorry. And it's just completely changed the venue to be much more fast in the outfield and playable year round. So been a major upgrade for our facility there as well. All right, and a couple things that we don't have. That is really the central core of our athletic facilities that are all kind of right next to each other. But we do have a swimming pool that is kind of kitty corner to the building that the city of Forest Grove partners with us on, where our swimming team competes. We have a tennis facility with 3 outdoor courts, 3 indoor courts that is up near the dorms on campus. Um, and then we have Hag Lake, which is where our boathouse is for our rowing program, about a 10-minute drive from campus. Teams go up there and work out. Cross country runners don't mind getting on the lake and running around it. Just a beautiful setting to be. It kind of looks like Maddie's background if you look at her a little bit. Uh, and then the other piece is our golf team plays at Pumpkin Ridge Golf Course, which is one of the premier country clubs in the state of Oregon. Tiger Woods won his amateur there. We've had LPGA tournaments there. A Live Tour stop went through there. And the final one, and thank you, Leah. Yes, we have a wrestling facility inside the Stoller Center that is 2 full mats. And then wrestling competes inside the gym. So we roll mats out into the gym, and we have actually a built-in spotlight in the gym for the wrestling matches. So we turn all the lights off and just the mat is lit. And can fit, and we just did this last weekend at our Boxer Open. We can fit 7 full mats and run a tournament inside the gym. I think we had 300 wrestlers here for the tournament last weekend, and have 500 at our Mike Clock Open in November. So wrestling's kind of our thing historically at Pacific athletically, and very, very proud of that program. So sorry I missed that, and thanks for reminding me of it, Leah. Any
Awesome.
other questions that popped up during the tour, Brant?
No, I just Uncle Jeff did a great job answering Jonathan's about multiple sports practicing at the same time. Typically, there won't be multiple teams. You'll have your own time in there.
Yeah,
Um,
but we have started splitting it some. So baseball and softball can take half when they're doing their small group hitting sessions. And so a lot of times tracks on one half, baseball, softball's on the other half. Um, Soccer can be on half, and then a team can be training in the box and doing plyo work outside of the box with the curtains down. So we're trying to maximize our facilities to the best of our abilities. So um, the reality is you all have class during the day, so it's not like we can reserve practice times every 2 hours from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. So those early morning before class or late afternoon and evening times are prime. And so we have a very collegial department that folks work really well together in getting the most out of the facilities that we have.
Great. Um, I'm gonna pass this one to you, Uncle Jeff. Uh, if I'm considering playing a sport in college, would you recommend playing or just going to school?
Yeah. Listen, if you're passionate about your sport, then you need to do it. You need to go for it. Um, I think this is coming from an old coach's standpoint, but also as a counselor to many, 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 many athletes at the university over the years. If you're passionate, you need to give your best to do it. The worst thing would be to go to a place and just not do it, and then maybe like a year or two or three into it, and then go, "What if I would have? What if I would have?" And that's the worst feeling to have, for sure. And I'll just share a quick story. Young, not young lady, she's a young lady still, but one of my former students came from a 1A school here in Oregon and really wanted to play volleyball, but because she felt the competition and her level of ability wasn't good enough, that she was just going to resign herself not to play. And I really strongly encouraged her to do it, because she loved the sport. And I said, if you don't make it, then you can work out and try out the next year. You can play intramurals, right? You can still have a great experience, but if you make the squad, then and have a great experience, then what? Well, she went on to be an All-American in volleyball and track and field, graduated number one in her class at Pacific University, and we only have one valedictorian here, guys. There's not 18 valedictorians at Pacific, and went on to graduate number one in her class at medical school at Oregon Health Sciences University, and she is in the Hall of Fame amongst about 38 other students that I was blessed to help recruit or coach. So I think you should do it if you love it, because
Yeah,
you'll love being a
Maddie.
student athlete.
Yeah,
Great
Maddie,
answer.
you want to talk a little about your experience as a student athlete since it was fairly recent?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think one of the primary concerns for high school students considering to play their sport, not to play their sport in college is how they're going to manage all of it. And I think a place like Pacific is how you manage all of it. About a third of our undergrad students are student athletes, kind of like Keith said at the beginning. So there are around 600 other students that are in the same boat as you. And there's plenty of room to do it all. That is kind of what the liberal arts experience is built for, is to give you those opportunities and for you to take advantage of everything that you can while you're here. For me, as a Pacific athlete, that was probably one of the highlights of my time at Pacific. It's what built my family for me. It's what helped me with my time management. It was my outlet. It was all the fun. And I wouldn't change a single thing. If I could go back, I'd do it all again if I could. But I think if you have the chance, it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. So take advantage of it while you can, and you'll only build good memories from it.
Great answer. I think that's absolutely true. I'll also pass this one to you, Maddie, since you've been a student at Pacific a little more recent than Uncle Jeff. How does the faculty work with student athletes if they're having to travel or potentially miss class?
Yeah, that's a good one too. So faculty do expect you to communicate with them what is going on. Of course, there's leniency in that. So I think sometimes too, coaches alert them of, hey, we have a meet coming up this week. So they are aware of the situations, but it is ultimately also your responsibility to communicate what days you're going to miss, if there's anything that you need to make up for. But really cool thing about our faculty is that they're excited for you. It's not like a bad thing that you're missing class. It's okay, you're going to be gone for a meet this day. How do we figure out how to make sure that you're prepared? Is that taking a test early? Is that setting up a Zoom for you, recording the lesson for the day so that you can watch it while you're on the bus? Just kind of what does that look like? Fun things about that too is they're following when you're away. So when you're traveling, you come back to class on the following Monday. They might recite your 5K time, which is a crazy thing for a professor to know. But it just goes to show how much they care about you as a person and are there to support your learning in the process.
Great answer. Do student athletes live with a teammate? Is there athletes? What residence halls? How does the living situation work with athletes? Does anybody want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, I think the easy answer is there is no athletic dorm, but there's a couple buildings that freshmen primarily live in, and we tend to be a pretty big body coming in as a freshman class, so there's going to be a bunch of athletes on your floor with you. And what typically transpires is coaches do encourage you to live with a teammate. It puts you on the same schedule, puts you kind of in the same grind and the same down times together. So it just creates a more kind of a smoother operation to the living experience your first year in the dorms. By no means are you required to live with a teammate, but I would say probably 90% of athletes get paired up when a coach makes that uh, a recommendation, not a mandate. So I think it all works out really, really well. And we don't hear a whole lot of issues amongst teammates. Um, and the data shows it's the same rate, whether you're an athlete, non-athlete, knew your roommate or didn't know your roommate before showing up, of success rate. So I highly recommend it, but by no means do we push it as a mandate.
Great. Thanks, Keith. Would you, let's see, it says, would that be from the start or after the first year that they're paired
Yeah,
up?
first year together, and then you find your people, and sometimes those people are athletes, sometimes they're not athletes, sometimes they're an athlete in another sport, sometimes it's the teammate you lived with as a freshman, you live all 4 years with. It's this is just kind of our way of as we get to know you in the recruiting process of saying, oh, I really think. Uh, you know, Leah and Maddie would be great roommates together. Let's put them in touch with each other, and you kind of connect and decide whether you want to do that or not. And then after that, it truly is on you where you want to live and who you want to live with in that sophomore year.
Great. Awesome. What about tutors or support for the students if they do have to miss class? Are there academic tutors and how does that work?
There is a great program in the library called Class, which is a peer tutoring uh, opportunity. It's an opportunity for all students. It's not just an athlete thing, but it's folks that have done really well in the classes that you're in as a first year, and they're there to help. And you can sign up and attend tutoring at open times during the day, in between your classes, before practice. Um, and there are great resources. Your faculty are the resource, and that's something that I think we oftentimes forget to really expand on is your access to those faculty members that you don't get at big schools. So rather than trying to figure it out on your own, you're in the faculty member's office getting that help or figuring out what you missed while you were on the road. So there is ample opportunity to get that help that you need to succeed. Some teams do run study halls during the course of their seasons. Again, that's kind of sport to sport, coach to coach, in terms of uh, having that mandate put in place. I know football does a study hall. I think men's basketball does a study hall. Um, Women's basketball, I believe, does. And it just kind of depends on coach to coach how they want to manage that portion of it. But every coach does academic check-ins with their student athletes year round and knows what's going on. And then we have a system on campus where the faculty can provide alerts of concern, and that goes to the care team, that goes to the academic care team, and then it comes through me, and then I go to the coaches, and we make sure that we partner to help folks get and develop the skills that they need to be successful. Um, our department GPA is well over a 3.0. I think in the fall we had 2 teams out of the 24 that weren't a team GPA above 3.0. Our highest team had a 3.85 team GPA in the fall. So we're real about our academics here, but also very real about the athletic side of it too.
Great. Thanks, Keith, for that. Definitely, students know the professors. So you can go to the class, the Center for Learning and Student Success, but you're also going to know your professors. So I always recommend students to go to the professor that's going to write the test to get help. Okay, this is an important one. Food. How does food work? Is it by point system? Is it all you can eat? How does the food on campus work? Do student athletes get enough to eat?
Yeah, this is a great story. I like telling this. When I came to Pacific, it was a point system 16 years ago. And I was hired to restart the football program at Pacific. They hadn't had football for 20 years. And this speaks to the Pacific way, that when I showed up, the director of the dining services on campus marched into my office and said, I've never fed a football team. What do we need? How do I do this? It wasn't, this is, you have to fit into this. It was, what do we need to do to serve athletes? And we really took that for all athletes, and they moved to an all you can eat platform. And it's been that way ever since. And it is fantastic. It's 19 meals a week is the base plan that we recommend for everybody. That's 3 meals a day, Monday through Friday, and 2 meals on the weekends. And so you don't go hungry, and can really track and uh, get what you need nutritionally to maximize your performance. But then they also do a really good job meeting your taste needs too. It's not just about calories in and bland food. We get Hawaii food at times. We get Mediterranean food at times. They really do work hard to provide a high quality product for all those meals. So, Maddie, what was your experience with the meals?
Yeah, I like to eat, so that was really important to me. I think I asked a specific question about that to Coach on my visit before coming to Pacific. So that was an important part of my experience. And I think my favorite thing about our dining hall is just how many options they have out at all times. There's a whole bunch of different stations. So if one thing doesn't look good, there's going to be something else that piques your interest. And that you can go back in after you swipe as many times as you want. So one swipe, and I'm going back in to refill the plate about 3 times because that's just how you do it as a runner. So I was very pleased with the dining experience on campus.
Now, I will say this.
Yeah.
You do have to challenge yourself to try new things, because you can get in a rut of having a slice of pizza for lunch every day. And no matter what you do in that scenario, you are going to tire of it. And I try to go up at least once a week and eat on campus, either breakfast or lunch, when I'm around, and just to see it and kind of to go after it. And I always try to do the plate of the day that's kind of a chef specialty, and try new things. And it's been awesome. It's been great. but it does require you to try it. And the great thing, as Maddie said, if you try something and you don't like it, that's not your meal. You can go back in and get something that does uh, kind of hit your taste buds the right way. So um, that's I'm sure a lot of your folks and families have encouraged you over your life to try new things. Well, that's part of college is going away and trying new things, and some of that food is part of it, especially culturally with what we've got going on campus. There are a huge number of opportunities to engage that way too.
Loco Moco plate lunches, I've heard, are sometimes served in the UC. So there is variety, which is nice. I eat there as much as I can too. So I'm gonna pass this one to you, Uncle Jeff. Is it possible to play a sport, work, and excel in the classroom?
Absolutely. The coach will probably tell you as well, you know, work study, typically work study, which is a federal work study program, and even a lot of offices do have non-work study jobs. It revolves around your schedule. So your academic schedule, your personal schedule, if that's a practice schedule, etc. Revolves around that schedule. So as your schedule changes from the fall semester to the winter term to the spring semester, your work hours change. And typically you work about 8 to 10 hours a week. A student can actually work up to 20. Now, we don't suggest that given everything that you're doing academically and otherwise. But if you work your 8 to 10 hours a week and you work all year through the school year, you're going to earn all your work study money. And I always tell my students, look, if you have work study, then you should work, right? Because that's typically $3,000. And that does not get credited to your account. You have to earn those dollars. The check comes to the student, and then they decide what they're going to do with that money. So, I really encourage you to work, and especially, you might be working in a lab in your science field, or you might be working with a professor, or you might be working in the admissions office, or down in the athletic center, or a number of things. I've swept leaves on the football field and out in the areas in the quad, etc. when I was a student. So you can definitely do it, and you should because you want to get that 3 grand.
Absolutely. Minimum wage is over $15 an hour. Absolutely. What about travel? Are the athletes having to take school buses to Spokane, or what is the travel like in the conference and out of conference?
So basically, kind of in the state of Oregon, our competitors that are an hour or less away, um, most of our sports will drive vans down uh, to those and back in a short term. Football will always be on buses just because of volume. But anytime we're going up to Spokane, Walla Walla, those longer trips, we're on charter buses. Those charter buses now have Wi-Fi on them, so you can connect and keep up with classes with the Wi-Fi. Um, we only put two people in a hotel room, so one body, one bed. It's not some of you that have been in club sports sleeping six of you in a room, and food is taken care of, all of it. It's we do our best to travel very, very well. We do have a couple sports, basketball and soccer will share a bus together when they go up to those places. So you get a good social experience traveling and rooting for those other teams that you're traveling with as well. So yeah, we try to do it right and take care of them when they're heading out to compete.
Great. So 4 Washington schools in the conference, 5 Oregon schools. Um, what about, let's see, if there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If there is anybody else, what about gear? Are we sponsored? Is there any equipment that players have to purchase to play? How does that work, Keith?
Yeah, it depends sport to sport. So every program's kind of got a budget that they are working in and raising money for at times. Um, Uniforms are all taken care of. Practice apparel is taken care of. We do laundry in the department as well, so you don't have to take all your practice stuff up to the dorms and try and find a time to do your own laundry. Um, we don't do shoes, but most and equipment is taken care of. Um, you know, Tennis players, they like their own rackets, so they bring their own rackets. A lot of the baseball, softball folks are bringing their own bats and gloves. But the catcher's gear we're buying, so it kind of is sport to sport with that. But travel food taken care of. Fall camp, a lot of times we get questions if you got to be here before um, school starts. So our fall sports, football, soccer, volleyball, and cross country all have to be here well before school starts. There is no cost to move into the dorm. There is no cost for you to eat. We're paying for all that food and taking care of those things, taking care of all the travel costs, flights, charter transportations, meals on the road, and then the majority of your apparel needs, both practice and travel, are taken care of.
Coach, there's a question in the chat. Can they bring their own football helmet if it's approved?
Yeah, we just need the recertification. So if you wore the helmet your senior year of high school, you got to get it recertified and have that certification come with you. And then we can put it into the rotation, and then we'll pay for the reconditioning for subsequent years. We'll send it out with our helmets. So yeah, we do get guys who have very, very specific brand loyalty with helmets that will buy their own, and that's totally fine.
Great. What about if a student were to qualify for a regional or national competition? Would they have to cover that, or does the university cover that cost?
No, typically the NCAA covers a lot of championship travel. So if you either as a team or as an individual qualify for NCAA championships, the NCAA pays for that. So some of the teams it's charter flight, some of the teams it's commercial flight. Um, but yeah, the NCAA is covering a good chunk of that. We cover everything else for that. So we like when people go to championships. So we're gonna do
Let's
it right when they
go.
do. Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I'm seeing in on my end. We can give it another couple minutes to see if there is any others. I will say, if you have the opportunity to be a college athlete, do it. Some of my best friends, some of my guys that stood with me up at my wedding were my college teammates. And I know you guys get close with your high school teammates, club teammates, but it is a different thing when you're in college and you're hanging out in the dorms at night playing foosball or ping pong and getting up and working out and going to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I just feel like you get a little closer with those college teammates. And so I highly recommend if you have the opportunity, I think Maddie said it, you have your whole life to be an adult. You have one chance to be a college athlete. So and intramurals, it's not the same as being an athlete at a intercollegiate team. Um, so yeah, some students, oh, I'll just play intramurals. It's almost the same as Division three, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. Intramurals is not the same. As a team, you win together. Hopefully, you don't lose too much, but you do it together. And I think that's something that makes it completely different than intramurals, where you show up once a week and just play games. The practices, and you guys have put in a lot of work to get where you are. So to just walk away and hang up after senior year of high school seems like a lot of that work is going to waste. So definitely, I'm gonna echo what Uncle Jeff dropped in the chat there. If you have not yet, do a senior preview day. There's three of them left, two of them online, one of them in person, and you get an $8,000 scholarship, $2,000 a year. Too easy to pass up on. So if you don't know about the senior preview days, reach out to your counselor, reach out to me. I'll help you out. Definitely, you want to get to one of those senior preview days. Cheryl just dropped the link in the chat there. So definitely want to do that. Financial aid packages will be coming out in 2, 3 weeks, sometime hopefully this month in February. If you're coming for an athletic visit, do you recommend also going to a senior preview day? Yes, definitely. For the scholarship, you want to get to a senior preview day. There is one on campus the 28th of February, so that one's coming up. So if you're coming on an official visit, I think that's the Friday, but that is a Saturday morning that we will have our senior preview day. But definitely want to get that opportunity because it's too easy of a scholarship to pass up on. I'll pass it over to you, Uncle Jeff, if you want to give any parting shots, any last words here. There, the 7th, February 7th and March 7th. Those are the two virtual. And I'll pass it over to you, Uncle.
Yeah, thanks so much. First of all, I want to thank Coach Buckley and Maddie and Brant for hosting us all tonight, and I want to thank you guys for joining us. This is an awesome opportunity to learn a lot more information about being a Division III athlete, and we are here to help and answer all of your questions. Don't hesitate to reach out to your admissions counselor when you receive your financial aid awards. Please reach out to them and they can help guide you through the process. Sometimes the financial aid can be a little bit confusing, and so we want to be able to make sure you and your family understand every single thing about the award. And we can actually do worksheets to help you and your family know what the direct costs are going to be with your financial aid, considering your financial aid in that as well. I think one thing about Pacific, I think the best word to describe Pacific is genuine. What you see is what you're going to get. What we're telling you, what these folks are sharing with you, is what you're going to get. And I like to sometimes say, like, if you decide this is where you're going to be, which we obviously hope you do, if you come to Pacific, I promise you it'll change your life. It will. So thank you so much, and I'll let Brant end it all. It's great to have you guys.
Well, anything else you want to add, Maddie? Anything you want to add about your experience as Maddie was a boxer? Obviously, we've talked about that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
My parting gift is that if you have the chance to do an overnight visit to help make your decision, you should do it. And that would be reaching out to coaches to get that organized. But that was what helped me make my decision. You get to see it all as is, like Uncle Jeff said, at face value. So what you see is what you get, but also getting to experience it yourself before you commit to the full thing was a really fun opportunity. And you get to see campus, spend the night with the team, get to do all of the things you'd be doing as a student athlete here at Pacific. So if you get that chance, awesome. If not, join us on Zoom for the virtual senior preview day.
Great. Thank you,
guys.
Maddie. Thank you. Definitely. Highly encourage you to come visit us. And I say, when you do make a decision, make that decision as wisely as possible, then jump in with both feet. Don't second guess your decision. Don't compare what's happening at other places. Make the most where you're at. Make the big time where you're at. And I'll pass it to you, Keith, if you have anything you want to say before we close out.
Yeah, I first and foremost, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us, and your interest in our institution is really humbling. We do believe in what we do, and are excited for the future of where we're going as a department. I do want to encourage you to continue to communicate with the coaches in your program that you're interested in. If you have not communicated with them yet, that is an imperative that you get on their radar. We do have some sports that have a fixed roster opportunities, so you want to get kind of on that soon. If you haven't done so, others are a little bit more open, but this is a communications process, and you'll learn as you get into college that it's really important to advocate for yourself and communicate and go get the experience that you want to get. And if you show up and as Brant said, jump in with 2 feet and grow as a person, grow as a teammate, grow as a competitor, grow as a boxer, you're going to graduate and feel like Maddie does, not ready to leave, wanting to stay. And Jeff's been here for a long, long time because this place has meant that much to him and his life and everything that he's wanted, and it's become that for me. And ultimately, we want that for you. And hope we see you in the fall. Hope you come and be a part of this drive to be the best boxers that we can be. And have a great night. And thanks again.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. We do appreciate your time and I appreciate all of your guys' time. I know a lot of you are in season, have stuff going on, but thanks for the compliments there, Jonathan. Definitely reach out. I see you're a Southern Oregon Coast guy, so feel free to reach out to me. And we're going to wrap this up. So, like we always say, go Boxers.